Okay, so I was going to show you some stuff here on online, but I can show you like we can talk and I can show you what I'm talking about. But basically, gotcha. But basically, uh, it's not so much that I want to get into um, owning property. Like I know owning property is extremely capital intensive. Absolutely right. Agree with you, 100%. No, no, two questions asked. Okay, give me a second. I'm just going to put it on do not disturb here so I can um, do not disturb on Zoom. So I know that there's it's extremely capital intensive. It just is what it is. But I'm glad that we're on kind of the same page. So I'm just going to write as I talk here and go over like basically what my plan is.
Okay.
Plan number one, use a little bit of capital, not a whole shit ton. Start with one property and then go from there, right? I don't use property as money-making machines per se. Rather, what they use them as like long-term wealth-building strategy. By the way, you're absolutely right. I came across one business in particular that blows real estate out of the water in terms of its return on investment. The problem is, as you know, like a lot of businesses, like John's, for example, or construction or whatever it is, you have to keep doing them to keep making money. Right? The
Or
thing
you
that I
can
like about
hire someone to keep doing them to keep making money, right? You can always hire a general manager or a CEO to run your companies. You don't have to do it yourself.
but like real okay, like Leo, unlike real estate though, maybe this is where I think we're going to agree on this. Let me try and put where I'm coming from a perspective. You're absolutely right, but there's nothing stopping your GM or your CEO or whoever from quitting, going get another job, being your competition, like starting up in competition against you. Right?
It
There's
does
nothing.
happen, but when you choose the right one, it doesn't happen very often.
Okay. The thing I like about real estate is this: nobody's going to quit on you, right? Rent just keeps coming in. It's slow and steady. It works.
Well, if you're alone, yes. But if you want to run a successful real estate company, real estate investment company, you're
Mhm.
going to need people,
Definitely.
or else you're back in the grind again. Because if you buy to hold, most cases, if you want a good deal, you're going to have to renovate. Someone's going to
Yeah.
have to supervise, people renovating, right? And if you don't have enough volume, you're not going to get people to renovate, or you're going to pay a ton of money to get it renovated.
Yeah. No, no questions asked. No questions asked.
Okay.
Right. So you're definitely gonna be doing the work yourself. That's why for my next little while, I don't see it going any other way for me. Unless I'm going crazy. You tell me if I'm going crazy, but
Okay, to buy a property, even out of town, how much capital do you need
10 or 15 grand up front.
up
But we're
front?
talking like we're talking 5% down, man.
Okay. What about renovation costs?
I plan to get something at that I can just do myself right away. So I'm not sure renovation like under 20 grand with me doing a lot of the work, quite frankly.
Okay. Are you going to maintain your teaching position?
Yeah,
Okay, so you're going to do it nights and weekends.
you got it. But more like just weekends. Weekends or just hire somebody to go out there.
Yeah.
Somebody at like 40 bucks an hour to just go out there and do whatever he needs to do. It's not gonna be pretty, man.
So, so how much capital do you have to put into one property?
Right now, $20,000.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got
So,
a car. Like
so if
I don't know. I'm not,
anything goes wrong, I can't see, holding a property, closing a property, doing renovations, even cosmetic renovations with closing costs and everything else for 20 grand. I just can't see it.
spread out over, we're not talking about spread over, you know, a couple weeks though, Leo. We're talking about spread out over like 6 months to a year.
So you're gonna do renovations while the tenant is in there? Because it
Um,
doesn't make sense to hold the property vacant. Does it?
no, no. Like the tenant would have to occupy half of it. It'd have to be pretty much a ready-made duplex. Tenant would have to occupy half of it.
Yeah, I can't see it. And stuff always goes wrong.
Yeah, it does.
Always goes wrong. Even when you do a home inspection, the home inspector can't see inside walls. It could be mold, it could be dry rot, it could be asbestos, urea, could be a lot of different things inside the walls, unless you're
Yeah.
going to open up walls as a conditional of purchase.
Yeah. But we're not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me.
I don't know, Leo. I don't know what else to do, man. I think I'm stuck. I really do. I think I'm like fucking stuck. I've got a car on my credit that I can't get rid of.
Okay, so let's talk about the car first.
Yeah.
How many vehicles do you have?
One. I
Okay.
have one. Has one, but I have one.
Okay. And the loan is higher than the value. Is that what you're saying? And it's
Mhm.
about 70,000?
Mhm.
So if you were to dump it, what could you get for it?
I'm gonna find out either this evening or pretty quickly. It's up on auction right now.
Okay. So let's say you get 50,000.
Sure.
Could you get 50,000 for it, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So 50,000 plus 20,000, does that make sense?
Leo, I don't have. Yeah. Mhm. Where am I gonna get with that $20,000? You want me to get rid of my last remaining penny to my name?
No. Hold on. If you can get rid of the vehicle for 50,000 and you have 20,000 in the bank, that gives you 70,000, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Go out and buy a
No, no,
$1,500.
sorry.
No?
No, you're sorry. Maybe you're not understanding. There's a $70,000 loan on the car.
Oh, right. So you're going to end up owing, let's say 20 grand or 10 grand on a vehicle that you don't have anymore.
Right. Or I
Okay.
have to go lease a car off whatever dealer takes it off my hands, or I don't give it in. Period. I just keep it and like fuck it. That's it. So I talked to a mortgage broker and she was like, another one of your best bets is probably start this construction company on the side, like you said. As soon as you can prove, or as soon as I can talk to whatever lender, because every lender is different, right? And different times, different lenders are different, right?
Mhm.
So she's like, as long as I can convince a lender that you can make $1,000 or more, basically offsetting the cost of the car through your construction business, then you're good to go.
Okay.
Does this make sense?
And if you can't show that,
Then I'm stuck at buying something that's under 300 grand, buddy. I'm stuck buying something at under $300,000 within 2.5 hours of Toronto. That's it.
let's stay on the vehicle for a second. You need transportation, but
Yeah.
I would suggest you get cheap transportation because a $70,000 vehicle, insurance and carrying costs are going to be higher than what you need right now.
Yeah.
And finding someone, could you pay someone to take over the lease? There are lease senders. Have you tried a
Mhm.
lease sender's site or?
It's not a lease though. It's a loan from Scotiabank, but yes, it's called Lease Busters or whatnot, right?
Yeah. You might still get someone to take over the loan, even if you pay them 5 grand or something over time or 10 grand.
Yeah.
It's still. I would try and get your costs as low as possible, your expenses as low as possible if you want to get into this business or any business at this point. Try and get
Yeah.
rid of the vehicle. If you can't, then you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
And it's going to reduce.
To reduce your borrowing power, but the other way to get out of the vehicle is just make enough money and pay it off. Right? That's another way to do it. Focus on making a lot of money and pay it off.
Hmm.
Like $70,000. Okay. That's a couple bathroom renos. Not a couple bathroom renos, but like many, but who cares? You do a bathroom reno, you make 10 grand or whatever. Do that a couple times. Now you're done.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So do you want to do bathroom rentals?
Yeah, I'll do them myself. I'll do whatever I need to at this point in time. But I don't really have a lot of. I'm sorry, this is the shitty part about our conversations. I really don't have a lot of options. Talk to me again in like a year or so from now. I should have lots of options, but right now I don't have lots of options. The only
Okay.
option I really have is go and find out a way to make money and make it. That's it. And I can't really. I don't even have the option of giving up my teaching job either.
Okay. Um, but the problem with bathroom rentals, people don't want you to come in on weekends to finish their bathroom, right? Unless you partner up with someone else who's going to be doing day-to-day operations and you take over sales or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm in a bit of a tight spot, right? It's not really a good spot to be in. Can't fucking believe I was in a better spot 3 years ago than I am now. But
Yeah, but it happens. I told you about the time that I lost $7 million, right? This is nothing compared to that.
no, you didn't tell me about that.
Yeah, my first divorce cost me $7 million.
Sorry.
So,
Okay.
so it's nothing compared to that, and we all make mistakes. Um, so you need a vehicle to make good money on a steady basis. So bathrooms are a good option. Painting is another good option. Painting will require less capital. You can do bathrooms, but I would use subcontractors. That way they're using their truck and their tools and their knowledge and everything else. So
Mhm.
sell the jobs, sub it out to them.
Mhm.
And do you have good bathroom subcontractors you could use or?
No, I have to find all this.
Okay, well, I could recommend some. Maybe even some that might want to be a partner because they're good. They're good at doing hands-on work, but they're not good on the business side of the business.
Okay.
So,
I'm
and
listening.
bathrooms you can do right in town. You don't have to go 2.5 hours outside the city. You can do right in the city. And the closer to downtown, the more expensive the bathroom is going to be, and probably the better the profit's going to be as well.
That's right. Generally, the more wealth there is, the better it is. Sorry, just as we're talking, I'm just going to go into HubSpot, my CRM, and just take a couple notes here, okay? Because it's just easier to do that.
The reason why I record is so you don't have to take notes. I can share the video with you after.
Okay, cool.
So
So look, you're
it,
absolutely right. The way Bo does it is this. He and his partner, they go out and get the jobs. They've started with, they realized pretty quickly that you need repeat business. So what did they do to get repeat business? They went to co-ops. So they went to co-ops. They went and essentially were the middlemen between, or the GC, I should say, between the co-op and the person who was going to be doing the work. And this person, in this case, the person who's doing the work would be somebody who's like good at, good at kind of handyman stuff. Um, the margins are insane. The things that he told me as well, I should have known. Like, do they do plumbing and electrical? Sure. So they come in. Do they call in plumbers and electricians as well? Sure. But he said the best money by far was for a good old fashioned handyman, people that do things like drywall repair. And I was like, why is that? And he's like, because it's not too technical. It's not so technical. A drywall repairman is going to charge $130 an hour like an electrician would or a plumber would. right? So they're charging, let's say they're paying them $30 an hour, but they're charging the co-ops like 150 to 200 an hour. So Bo has a company right now that's making, they're generating about $1,000 a day. You're saying net. So they're billing out at like double that, like $2,000 a day. It's all about getting those contracts.
Yes.
Anyway,
One, one
the
of my
car would,
clients is a handyman service and he bills around $200 an hour. But you
and he's
need a
just saying,
lot of clients. You need a lot of clients.
okay,
And you need a pretty aggressive marketing campaign. So it
do you
really
mind if I ask which client it is?
oddjob.ca.
Yeah, I know them.
Um,
And they
so
dollars an
how,
hour.
sorry, you keep cutting
They
out.
bill out sorry, they bill out at $200 an hour.
On the commercial side, yeah, their average job is about $800. And they do that in about 4 hours.
Yeah.
But again, you need a lot of marketing. And there's a lot of management. So there's got to be a system software to handle these jobs. And a lot of the quotes the client is doing themselves by clicking buttons on their website. And they're prepaying in most cases. So I'm just wondering how involved you want to get with this business, because if you're teaching,
This is what I keep coming back to it. Why I need a partner. Bo has a partner. He's got a partner that sits in an office all day and does this stuff.
yeah, a partner to do what? To invest? An investment
No,
partner?
no, somebody to sit and do this kind of stuff. Well, partially, yeah. Partially, that person's going to have to invest time, energy, effort, maybe a little bit of money as well. But the website's going to be up and running soon enough.
I mean,
Yeah.
we can create a website in 24 or 48 hours. That's not the hard part.
Can you get it indexed to Google? Like, well, I'm still having trouble getting my site on Google.
Once the sitemap is built, it can be indexed within a couple of days.
I know, but I can't. I'm not a business on Google yet. I can't get reviews, and there are a number of people that want to review me.
Okay.
So do I need an office, for example? Is there a physical location that I can have an office to?
Well, just use your home as your office.
Nope, my girlfriend doesn't want to do that.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't want
Uh,
this house associated with that for CRA purposes, which quite frankly I understand.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I need a PO box or something, or an office space, or I need to go to WeWork and just rent an office, quote unquote. Kind of like rent an office.
yeah, or find a business that doesn't mind your mail going there. I'm sure I can get you one downtown. Actually, Odd Jobs would probably do that for me if I asked them.
But I'm like, I'd be one of their competitors. Like, is it this one, by the way? Is it this? Excuse me. I think I just found. We're chatting here. Is it this website?
No, it's oddjob.ca.
Job, not
Job,
jobs, right?
yeah, job singular.
No, it's okay.
I'm not sure that a handyman business would be good for you because there's a lot of selling involved, and these are small projects. If you want to make
Yeah,
money, I would stick with bathroom or painting
yeah,
because you can quote at night or after you finish school
yeah,
and quote on the weekends.
yeah,
And you can 3 or 4 quotes, you have enough projects for your handyman to work on.
yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at them right now, by the way. Oddjob.ca.
Yeah.
Do they spend like a marketing or what are they?
Well, I really shouldn't talk too much about them because
No,
we're trying to help them. So,
no problem, no problem.
and we sign non-disclosure agreement with every client. So I
No
only
problem.
mentioned them to give you an idea as to what you can do. I would suggest painting or bathrooms. Bathrooms obviously are going to be a bigger ticket item. And
Yeah.
a lot of times when you do one bathroom, you can do a couple more in the same house.
Yeah.
So it's a good referral business. And there's more profit in bathrooms than there is in kitchens right now. I've got a client in Florida who does $150,000 bathrooms. That's his average.
$150,000 bathrooms.
Bathrooms, yes.
Okay. Well, this
And
is why, another option for me here is go find those properties off market, find them, partner with somebody. I've got a couple partners that are ready to go. They're like, look, we've got capital, we got a couple $100,000, we're ready to go. Partner with them, do the rentals myself. They put up the capital. There you go. Now I'm back in the market.
so would you quit teaching to do that? Or you would hire subs, you mean?
Hire subs.
Okay. Well, if you can do that, then do you trust these people?
Yes,
Okay. So
but
what's stopping you from doing that?
I'm not. Nothing's stopping me per se. That's the wrong question. It's more like, is there something else that I could be doing? So should I be doing construction instead? Should I be doing that? I don't know. Nothing's stopping me. To answer your question, nothing's stopping me from doing that.
Okay. Well,
As a matter of
as
fact,
you
sorry, I have a weekend planned out in Belleville, Trenton coming up. As a matter of fact, we're in the process of one of the many things that I'm trying to do is get a good printer on board. Do you know of a good
printer to do what?
take
You mean
take
for
flyers to post and start sending them out?
okay. No, no.
Okay.
That's not something that we do. I mean, we have clients that print postcards and door hangers and stuff, but I don't know who they use. I'm sure I could find out. Um, but it sounds like your heart is set on staying with real estate.
For right now, yeah, I just want to, again, once I get the first property, Leo, I'm not opposed to doing anything. As a matter of fact, here, there was something I was going to tell you about that blows real estate out of the water that I found recently.
Okay.
Used car sales, specifically in the C space. So a lot of people who have not great credit, I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not. I didn't know about this very, very, very recently.
One of my
Some
clients does subprime lending for car loans. So yeah, I kind of know.
Okay, I didn't know about this. So I was unaware of the fact that 2/3 of Canadians have credit that's lower than 650, which means a lot of people are playing in the C space. A lot of people can't get good mortgages.
Hmm.
Okay, that's really serious, right? I did not realize that. So,
What
um,
I'm concerned about is you're looking at these businesses as a temporary business. I don't think that's a good mindset.
no, these are long term. Like the
Okay.
car one is long term business.
Well, so is bathrooms, so is kitchens, so is painting. Yeah. I wouldn't look at those businesses as short-term businesses. Short-term would be 2 or 3 years and sell the business after 3 years or
Okay,
5 years. That would be my exit strategy.
okay.
But you need to make a decision which direction you want to go so you can start putting one foot in front of the other and start designing stuff. Because going all over the place like we are right now, we can't really go into any depth.
Then it's off market. I'm gonna stick to what I'm good at then, man. It's off market real estate sales, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
When we in that deck that I showed you, there were times where we just literally sold a piece of paper, sold a contract
Hmm.
for more than I make as a teacher in a year. Right. And I'm sure more than Bo makes and more than John makes. Like, just it's fucking insane. Right. It's about finding the right deals. Now, Obviously, those assignment fees have gone way down, but who cares? If I can still, it's about finding the deal, right? If you can find the right deals, you will attract the right investors. Things will go your way, and that's a business I can see in for a long,
Yeah.
long time. I could be
I,
wrong.
I'm scared when you use language, things will go your way. Things will only go your way if you design them to go your way.
Okay, how can you? But Leo, why? If you don't mind me asking, like, not that I'm opposed to these calls, but why are you having them with me? Like, what's the benefit for you?
Well, I'm not seeing a benefit, but it doesn't mean down the road there can't be a benefit. I talk to strangers every day that I have no idea what the conversation is about or how we can help each other. But we
Okay.
usually, in 20 or 30% of the time, we always find a way of helping each other or making money or trading clients, or there's always an opportunity. And that's what my job is creating opportunities. And you can't create opportunities unless you have a lot of conversations.
Okay, so here's what I did last time. So let me tell you how I did this business last time and how I'm, again, just kicking myself now. Okay. I started off with one property in Toronto. It was a shitty duplex, but I fixed it up and I did a good job. The problem is it was really, really energy intensive. Like I was there pretty consistently after schools and on weekends for like 6 months. Right now, it was in horrible shape, in fairness. The second property I got, also in Toronto, was in way, way, way less horrible shape, like not even close. Still, it took me a couple months to fix up, but I could have done it. I could have done it much cheaper, much quicker, and much better. But whatever, you live and learn. The reason I talk about getting into the property market once again is once I have a foothold in the market and I've got rental income coming in and I've got partners and we all know and trust each other and there's agreement in place, then I can take next steps. But for right now, I just don't think I'm at anything but step one again, which is a really, really, really hard pill to swallow. So I don't know. You did mention that you had a divorce and it was costly. I didn't realize that it was that costly. I thought it was like 4 million, but still, that's a lot of money. But did you have to start after the divorce though? You haven't really mentioned this. If the divorce cost you 7 million, that means that you must have already. That means you must have had 7 million to give away. You must have had 7 million left over or something.
Well, no, because I mean, this is off topic, but the 7 million also put me in breach of contracts because I had to close other properties and now I don't have the cash to do it. So the 7 million cost me a lot more than 50% of my assets because I was in breach on 5 different deals.
But you still had assets left over after everything was said and done.
Some, yes.
I have nothing, so I have no assets.
Yep.
Okay, that's a fucking problem.
Okay.
Like I'm looking at, let me put it this way, boss. I'm looking in Sudbury. Like that's how far away I'm looking. Sudbury, right?
Have you
It's not
thought
good, man.
about how you're going to control a property in Sudbury while you're working Monday to Friday?
Yeah, it's not. None of the answers I'm coming up with are really good. They're just not. But again, I'm open to suggestions.
Well, I don't have any answers right now, and I need to get ready for a Zoom call.
Okay.
So if your heart is set on real estate, so let's just focus on that. But I would suggest you still have some way to fund the real estate, or else you're going to give up a lot of equity or a lot of shares.
So I should
Because generally we design construction companies to make a profit, and the profit is invested in real estate. But there's always a vehicle to make the profit.
That's exactly, so we're talking about exactly the same thing, Leo. I'm talking about like designing a construction company to make
But
profit.
you're talking about a part-time temporary company. It can't be looked at it that way because it will fail. 96% of companies fail already with full-time management, with people with business degrees, people with a lot of money, and they still fail, right? So thinking, okay, I'm just going to do this part-time and I'll, glance
Yeah.
at it every once in a while, it's not going to work. It's going to be a failure. Trust me.
Okay. So
Okay.
how do I, and because I'm in a really tough spot. That's all there's to it. Not in a good spot.
Okay.
I have business, and on the other end as well, on a personal note, I've got, the best situation I've ever been in personally, which is I've got these two kids, lovely wife.
Okay. Well, I would explore the opportunity that you said about the investors that you have. I would sit down, write a partnership agreement, right? No verbal shit,
Mhm.
and write a letter of intent to work from. So everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
And sit down with them for lunch or coffee and
Mhm.
say, this is what I plan to do. Does this meet? Can we have a meeting of the minds with this strategy? If they have the money and they agree, and I would not suggest, how much money is involved. I would emphasize the point that this is a conveyor belt. This is making little profits on each of these projects and on a continuous basis. Because
Mhm.
when you talk about massive profits that are bigger than your yearly salary, you're attracting the wrong investor when you speak like that.
Right. So I need to talk about basically not necessarily baby steps, but manageable, slow and steady gains. Da da da.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Can you help me design that? Because I've had more than enough talks with people who they're lovely, like they're really nice to talk to. They talk a great game, but I haven't even broached the subject yet of letters of intent or all this fun stuff. And until I do, I just have to assume, based on what you're telling me and kind of the vibe that I'm getting here, I have to assume that I'm basically just on my own.
Jason, you're all over the place. You're not on your own. You just said you have interested investors.
But they've never signed up, Leo. So like you just said, it's basically just you basically had conversations with people. Do I think these conversations will probably go somewhere? Yeah, but they're until somebody signs
Okay,
like
but all you need to do is sit down with a pad and paper, right? A blank piece of paper in
Mhm.
front of them and say, okay, this is what we're thinking. And just write notes. Then turn those notes into call it a letter of intent. That's as simple as it gets, right?
Perfect.
The reason why I would do it in front of them is so they understand why you're doing it. Because if you come in with a pre-written piece of paper, you can say, oh, I'm going to take this to my lawyer, right?
Mhm.
But if you do it in front of them and you get their input, now 60% of the input is theirs because you're going to ask the right questions and encourage answers from them so they feel the document is theirs.
So Leo, I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
Which, sorry, I know you have to get ready for another Zoom call. I don't know when it starts, but what if we could just plug and play then? So like you and I, right? I think you know that I can get property under contract. I can do it.
Okay.
I think I've shown it. I think you have. So again, trying like almost like a plug in a socket, trying to fit a need, a supply, and a demand.
Okay.
A lot of people, I'm sure you know a lot of them, or you work with a lot of them, whether they're your clients or you've been their client, or et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people have a desire to get into real estate, but they don't know their ass from their elbow. Even the more sophisticated.
And that's why they want sophisticated investors with a proven track record with a cookie cutter formula.
Okay, so can you help me develop that formula? If so, how would you like to do this? That's it.
Okay.
Tell me what will be for you.
Well, I can help
'cause I don't
you. I can
feel
help you
better.
design that. In lieu of payment, I will take an equity stake.
Yeah, of course. But what I would need from you as well is not only help designing it, because I'm sure you can design to the cows come home, and I'm sure they're very good. You must know people. Like you, come on, you must know somebody. Who do you know who's like they're kind of bored of the job? You know,
Well, I don't know anyone
anybody,
who's bored of a job. No, I don't know people like that. I know investors. I know I have a company that invests in real estate.
okay?
But people who are ready to quit their job and join you as a partner on this venture, I don't know any of anyone. And
How
I don't
about
think
this?
that's a good strategy either. I think a better strategy is the people who have jobs will keep their jobs. They have capital. They want to
Mhm.
invest in real estate and they want to use your vehicle to do that. But you shouldn't ask them to quit their jobs because they need that security.
I don't
Okay.
mean them quitting their job. So, for example, the same way I wouldn't quit my job, I wouldn't ask somebody else to quit their job. But I
Okay.
know a number of realtors who they're essentially just a collection of people. So, for example, one gentleman is he runs 911 Wealth Network. Brilliant, right? 911 Wealth Network. And all he does is he caters to the 911 crowd. He's a police officer investors, firefighters, whatever,
Okay.
paramedics, you name it.
And he
It's not
creates
that.
a syndicate or
What do you mean by syndicate? I'm sorry.
why he pulls a bunch of people together to invest in different
Mhm.
real estate. Okay.
You got it. Yeah. Basically a capital company.
Okay. Um, again, people like that are going to want to see a proven concept. They're going to want to see history. It's the single individual that is willing to take a little bit of a higher risk, but can be persuaded because of your personality or my personality, and they can sense the enthusiasm, right? A syndicate, they're going to hire a lawyer. You're going to be talking to a lawyer.
Right.
And the lawyer is going to want to see proven concept.
Right. Yeah.
So,
That's where I lost my ex-partner. I was the sucker that believed his enthusiasm.
all right.
So
All right. I got to go. Let me give some thought to this. I would suggest you set up a meeting with those two investors one at a time, and you and I
yeah.
will sit down with them for lunch or something and discuss the concept to see where they are. We can talk different strategies to see what tickles their funny bone. All right.
Okay.
We'll talk soon.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Use the calendar link to schedule meetings, please. Do me a favor. All right. Thanks. Have a good night.